Hello guys, so this is a short summary of our trip to Brighton. First, we reached the London King Cross station. We took a train to go to Brighton, and so we reached the Brighton train station, which looks like this from the outside. Then, moving on towards the hotel, here is the close up view of the sea, which you can see here. And then we made our way to the hotel and then grabbed some lunch and then moved on to a nearby park called the Royal Pavilion. This was the Royal Pavilion. It was built by King George and it was inspired by the Indian buildings having similar domes on the top. He used it for his entertainment, and today there was a Christmas party going on inside. And near the castle there was this art museum and a statue and some historical buildings which were all situated nearby. The back of the castle, it had an ice skating rink and there were people who were skating on it. And the back of the hotel, it had this horizontal building which was the restaurant. And then we made our way to the beach which was close by, and here is the close-up view of the beach. It was quite calm and serene. It was a rocky beach, there was no sand. Moving close, we just sat down by the beach. There was a pier built nearby, and the waves of the sea were quite calm and serene. It was all really settling. We went on to explore the pier later on, but for now we just sat down, watched the people and the sea and everything. And then there was this lady who was feeding the seagulls. They were all gathered around her to feed. And then we went to the Brighton Palace Pier, which was nearby. It was a small room with a lot of games. People of all ages were there entertaining themselves, putting in coins and just playing games. Moving out, we headed on to the back of the pier where there was an amusement park and also a beautiful view of the sea below. Taking in all the view from the pier, it was very calming, and there were seagulls flying on the top and people walking on the pier. And this was the amusement park which was on the back side of the pier, having a lot of fancy rides and a horror house, and there were a lot of other rides too, the crazy ride and the ticketing center where we can purchase tickets for all these rides. Anywho, we did not take any of the rides but made our way back to the hotel, and on our way we enjoyed the scenery, capturing photos and just looking around. There were seagulls flying, and people were saying that they take off food from your hand and then just fly away. So be careful if you ever go here not to eat in front of the seagulls, as they can be quite nasty. Anyhow, this was our travel lodge, and we made our way back into the hotel, had some rest, and then in the evening explored the nearby local shops a little bit. So this is what the hotel looked like from inside. And then we made our way to the hotel room and got into our rooms. So this is how it looked from the inside. Then we did a little bit of shopping, and after the shopping we went to a nearby hotel which was called Zafran. It was a desi restaurant because my friend likes to eat desi food, and here is the food what we ordered. Then after the food we went back to our hotel. There was a little bit of lighting in place for the New Year's. It was all decorated We did a little bit of shopping and then went back into our hotels. Next day we woke up and it was raining. Our plan was to grab some lunch, do some shopping, and go to the Seven Sisters by a coach. Anyhow, we went to the shopping mall which was nearby our hotel. It was raining quite a lot, and then we reached the shopping mall, did some shopping, visited the shopping centers, and our train it was about to leave at 11 o'clock, but we had some time, so we just went to the shops, explored the things that were present, just walked around the shopping mall and bought a few things here and there. It was an interesting experience. The shopping mall was quite big and there were sales for New Year going on. Then we grabbed some lunch from the Mark and Spencer shop nearby. It like a grocery store, but there were a lot of options like chips and snacks available. And we went to the baking section, took some chocolate chip muffins, and my friend took some croissants, and we both made our way back to the bus up to the Seven Sisters. And so we reached the Leonardo Hotel, in front of which there was our bus, which we had to take to the Seven Sisters. There were a lot of people gathering around. All of them had booked this bus to take to the Seven Sisters, and there was a tour guide too who was telling us everything.
Most of the rain has sort of passed through this morning, so we might get a little bit of drizzle here and there, but we're not expecting any sort of significant rain. A little bit windy, that's pretty normal for us. In fact, you'll see when we hit the hilltops, the trees grow sideways here. They're so stunted by the winds. But big storm coming tomorrow, but shouldn't be too bad today. So I'll very quickly go through the plan and then we'll get right on our way. So this morning we will start countryside. We'll have a quick stop at a place called Devil's Dyke. In fact, when we're there, I'll tell you why it's called Devil's Dyke. Every part of the country will tell you about a time when the devil came to visit. And so we'll start the day with a story about the time the devil came to Sussex. But from the top of Devil's Dyke, well, it's in the South Downs National Park, which is our range of hills which surround the city and stretch their way through Sussex. And it's one of the highest points, so we get some wonderful views looking across the Sussex landscape. So when we're there, or on the way up to it at least, I'll tell you a little bit about the area here, our countryside, and a little bit about this stuff as well. Chalk, and why chalk is quite important to us. It's a difficult job for me. I've got to try and make this seem interesting. Not easy. And but really, the best stuff is over towards the east, and so we'll journey further into East Sussex, and just before we get to the coastline we'll have a stop. Well, lunch today will be in a medieval village, a place called Alfriston, regarded as one of the most scenic villages in Sussex. And so you'll have a bit of time to explore. Lovely tea house there if you fancy scones, sandwiches, cream teas, and a village store there that does nice sandwiches and sort of takeaway things. And so feel free to have a little wander around the village there. But it's originally an old Saxon sheep farming village, but it's very well kept and well maintained. A lovely, beautiful little village. And then we'll head to the coastline. So I'll take you on a lovely scenic route through an area called the Cuckmere Valley, one of the most traditional parts of Sussex, big farming area. And then we'll reach the coastline, and so Seaford, coastal town, just about 20 miles further up from Brighton, and Seaford is where we get the best views of the Seven Sisters. It's the only place we get that iconic view of all 7 cliff tops there. So I'll take you to that spot, and then we'll head further along the coast to a place called Burling Gap, which is the main visitor area for the Seven Sisters. And there, if you want to, you can head down to the beach and see the cliffs from the base looking upwards, which is well, you'll see them right up close, lots of detail, which is spectacular. And then we'll end the day at Beachy Head, which is known as the notorious big brother of the Seven Sisters, and it's the tallest white chalk cliff in the UK. So great views out across our channel and across our coastline, and very much has a reputation. And
the driver kept us entertained throughout the whole journey, and he gave us detailed information on all of Brighton, how to get back and which places to explore, and I think the reviews are quite appropriate for the tour guide. They were about 4.9 I think, and I think that's quite apt. So we reached the first place. It was called Devil's Duke, and it is called so because of an area which we will be seeing later. However, this area it had dense fog and we could see far into the villages and the whole of the city. It was quite serene. And here is the Devil's Duke. Now, this is called the Devil's Dyke because it is an area of entrenchment which is like sort of covered from all of the sides, which is called dyke. And devil because the legend has it that the devil was buried here. Now, the travel guide was explaining this to us in a very good way, but summary of what he said was that there were people living here in the Stone Age because of the geographical benefit of this area because it is covered from all sides. But later on, there were legends about the devil and how the devil and his wife are buried in here. So the next stop was Longman of Wilmington. It is a long 235-foot image which is sketched on the floor and we can see it from a distance. The tour guide explained it to us in quite a detailed way about how it came into being and what are the stories associated with it, but it is made up from chalk and every year it is repainted by some people so that it stays in its shape.
But historians and archaeologists, they just can't decide. But some of them believe that this carving could potentially be Stone Age in origins. It could date back about 6,000 years. And there's a couple of clues. One is what is holding. So these sticks along the sides, these are what we call staves. Long thin sticks, and in ancient times people would use these. You could sharpen the ends as a hunting tool or use them to carry large rocks and materials around. But there's more evidence to Stone Age people being here, and there's a dip in the earth just to the left of the carving but on our right. You can see a little bit of chalk exposed out, and that is a flint mine which is about 6,000 years old.
So the next stop was a very beautiful village called Alfriston village in Brighton, and they left us for about an hour or two and we had to explore the village and then come back after exploring, and we had to come back to the bus. It was quite a picturesque village with beautiful doors and brightly painted houses, and the tour guide he left us for about an hour or so to explore it. It was quite fascinating. There were horses roaming about, and then there were a lot of flowers in front of the doors. They had put garlands in front of the doors and baskets of flowers, and they were quite brightly painted. It was a very beautiful village. Then we had some coffee with some sugars in it. I put 7 sugars because somehow it wasn't getting sweet, but it was quite delicious. We were the last people to catch the bus, but it is a good thing that we got it. So the next stop was the south coast where we could see the Seven Sisters. Here in the distance we can see the tall cliffs of Seven Sisters, and then the tour guide he decided us to tell a little about our elderberry tree.
It produces elderberries which we use to make jams. Dumbledore's wand is elder wand, so this is a branch that makes the wand. So these have an association with witchcraft and evil spirits, and for centuries it's thought of that, well, when witches want to escape persecution they would hide, and so they would reform as the branches of elder trees. So these contain magical powers, and of course the Elder Wand, the most powerful for casting spells.
It was about a 15 to 20 minutes hike, and we reached this area where we could see the Seven Sister Cliffs. And here everyone was taking photos, and the tour guide, he was telling us about the Seven Sisters and how they came into being. He told us that the Seven Sisters are made when the seas they wrecked the chalk, and it caused dips and elevations to be made, and these dips and elevations are called Seven Sisters. The next stop was the beach, from where we could see the Seven Sister Cliffs from close up. Now these were the stairs that led to the beach, and the view was iconic from here. It was quite windy and the people's clothes were flying around, but from the beach, from the stairs there was a beach, and then we could see the Seven Sister Cliffs like this. From below the stairs the beach looked like this. It was a rocky beach, and there were long and huge chalky mountains surrounding it. We took some photos, enjoyed the scenery, and watched the sea hitting the rocks. It was quite calming and serene. Then there was a monument shop where we could buy friezes, magnets, some postcards, and stones. It was there were a variety of things to buy, and there were a lot of people shopping around. Most of the people were buying friezes and stuff, but the rocks, they were amazing too. I bought the rocks because my sister, she's obsessed with collecting rocks. There were quite a variety of them in all colors, shapes, and sizes. I bought the quartz and the amethyst because of the color. Amethyst was beautiful, and the quartz because it stands for peace. The sun was setting, and then after the Berlin Gap, the last stop was this area from where we can see the lighthouse in the distance. And so our journey ended, and the tour guide, he was quite nice. He dropped some of the people at the train station, and those who were living in the hotel, he dropped them at their own hotel. He was quite nice about it. We were both starving, so next we went to Wendy's, and I bought a chicken burger because that was the only one that was halal there. The rest of them were not halal. So I bought the burger, and we made our way to a nearby hotel from where my friend took kabli pulao. So here we are making our way to the other hotel with the kabli pulao. We both took our foods back into the hotel, and it was our last night at Brighton. It was New Year's Eve, and we were very excited to see the fireworks at night. And we ate the food, slept early, and then woke up at the night to see the fireworks. This was the view at night. There were people all lined up in front of the club, and there were fireworks later. The next day we woke up, there were winds blowing at 70 miles per hour, and it is the first time in many years that the winds have been so strong in here. Everything was windy, and the waves, they were just crashing around the beach. It was the same place we went on the first day, but it looked quite different because of the wind and the crashing waves. We had went to Captain's to have some fish and chips, but it was closed, so we went back and explored the beach a little bit further. The tour guide told us about this restaurant and said it is very famous for the fish and chips. However, it was closed when we came in. and were opening in about an hour or so. So we waited and explored the area until after about walking around for an hour or so and watching the birds fly by and the waves crashing, we were ready to go back because it was about 10 o'clock at that time and the restaurant had opened. We were the first customers in the restaurant and they gave us free drinks just because we were the first customers. Both the drinks and the food, it was delicious. We ordered hot cocoa and coffee and some fish and chips. Next, we went to the donut shop and there were six donuts for £6 and it was very tasty. They had this machine which was pressing the donuts and frying them in the oil all by itself. We bought six donuts and shared them between each other, and the machine, it just pressed the donuts and fried it, and then they put it in a bag and put some cinnamon and sugar on it, and it was amazing. Next, we took the train back to London from Brighton, and this was the end of our journey as we took the train from Brighton, reached the London station, and then went back to Doncaster at our home.